So, it's fun that at 60 years old I can learn a new saying. I was in Australia. I was talking to some Australians, and they were asking me about Rupert Murdoch, who's Australian, who started Fox News. So what do you think about him? I said, well, what do y'all think about him? And they said, well, we have this saying in Australia called tall poppy. And I'm like, I had never heard that. And apparently there's a thing going all the way back to Greek mythology that says that in a poppy field, when one of the poppies sticks its head up and gets to be taller than the other poppies, that someone cuts it down. And so the Australian saying is, if someone becomes famous or someone becomes wealthy or someone succeeds, we feel like we have to cut them down. You ever heard of that in America? We don't call it tall poppy, but we do it all the time. Like, we teach people, be diligent, save your money, work hard, be excellent at your job, but for God's sakes, don't succeed, because if you succeed, then you're an evil rich person. That's tall poppy syndrome, right? It's the same thing. And it's one of the most evil sins that are out there. One of the deadly sins, the 7 deadly sins, is envy. Jealousy is I want what you have. Envy is I don't think I can have it, so I don't want you to have it. You cannot celebrate someone else's success ever when you have envy. That's tall poppy syndrome. Anyone who becomes successful, we relish in the idea that they must be torn down. We relish in the idea that, if he or she has built wealth, if he or she has become successful and they're chosen, gotten into the spotlight because of their success, then they must be evil and they must be brought down. And we are somewhat gleeful when they crash or when someone can crash them. And so we're always looking for something to be pissed off about when it comes to the successful, the wealthy. And that's immaturity. It's sin. It's called envy. And it creeps into politics. This whole thing of everybody needs to have the same income, socialism crap. Everybody's not going to have the same income because everybody doesn't work as hard as everybody else. Everybody's not as smart as everybody else. I'm not as smart as people who make more money than me. There are people smarter than me that make less money than me because they don't do anything with their intelligence. But there are people a lot smarter than me that make a lot more money than me. And I'm not mad about that. I'm going to do what I can do with what I got. I'm not going to be on the cover of GQ magazine. I got a face for radio. So the chances of me making it big as a male model is 0, unless they need an Oompa Loompa. Okay? So I'm okay with that. I'm going to work with what I got. But if you want to, if somebody's a beautiful person and they can make money off of that, there's nothing wrong with that. Things are not equal in this world, and so incomes and wealth are not going to be equal in this world. Get over yourself. You're not due squat. You're not entitled to anything, little snowflake. So I bring that up because I got this article came across my desk, and it's just interesting. Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest people in the world, just bought David Geffen's house for $165 million in Los Angeles, the all-time L.A. home purchase record. $165 million house. Can you imagine? Most of us can't. No, I can't imagine. Did Jeff do something wrong? You could have fed a whole lot of starving people for that. You evil rich person. You're so wasteful. Well, let me tell you how you can check yourself on this kind of thing. And I had to learn to do this because I know a lot of people in my own neighborhood, a lot of people I grew up with. Not all of them, but some of them. They just they want to have tall poppy syndrome. They just want to tear down anybody who's rich, anybody who's done well. I don't know Jeff Bezos from beans. I don't know what kind of character the man has. I'm not defending that at all. I'm defending his right to make a $165 million purchase on a home. Because here's the ratios. That's like the average American family as a ratio of his debt, him spending $165. It's like the typical person listening to me right now buying something for $122. That's how big a decision this was for him. It wasn't sweat off of his brow. He didn't think about it. He didn't wring his hands and wonder if he could afford it. any more than you do when you spend $122 on a night out at a dinner. And some of you spend that at a pizza place, feeding your whole freaking tribe, right? So, hey, before you start judging someone else on what they've spent something on, do some ratios. And it'll keep your spirit straight. It'll keep you from falling into the sin of envy, which is, I don't think I can have what you have, and so I don't want you to have it. Now, I think the probability of Dave Ramsey ever buying a $165 million house is very low, because I don't think I will build the level of wealth in my lifetime that Bezos has built. I don't see it in my future. Now, maybe I should think bigger, maybe I'd have a better vision, maybe so forth. But I probably won't be able to do that, and I certainly won't be able to do it on the ratios that he did it on. But I'm able to do some really nice things that I never dreamed as a little kid I would get to do. And I get hate mail for that. Dave Ramsey made all his money on the backs of poor people. I don't think so. I didn't force anybody to do anything. I haven't stolen any money from anybody. And yet some of you people get completely twisted up. Hey, I can't believe you spent that. Well, it's not any of your freaking business to start with. But you're falling into that sin of envy. And as long as you hate successful people, it will be very difficult for you to become one. It's very difficult psychologically for you to work very hard to become something you detest. And so teaching our children that wealth is evil, teaching our children that wealthy people are evil, inherently because they have money, teaching our children that becoming successful causes you that you should be torn down, tall poppy syndrome. It's really bad medicine in America today. Teaching you that you should make money because you breathe air, that you deserve a universal minimum wage. Horse crap. You don't deserve nothing. The guy in my office one day a few years ago came in and he's got all these degrees. He's been to like 6 different degrees or whatever. He's got more degrees than a thermometer working for us. And he's like, Dave, guys that got degrees like me, we make a whole lot more than I make here. And I said, well, you should go get that job. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, this is a small business, man. Here's the way it works here. Your raise is effective when you are. When you get up, leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home, honey, I will share it with you. Or if you want to go do it on your own, I'll be your biggest cheerleader. I don't care either way. But this idea that you're due money because you have a degree, bull crap. You're due money because you breathe air, bull crap. You're not due nothing. You're not due squat, snowflake. Buckle up, buttercup. Go get something done. Then you deserve it. Leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home. Prove you have value in the marketplace. But there's a reason that people don't get paid much at McDonald's, because any idiot can work there. It's the bottom of the food chain, no pun intended. You know, I'm not mad at McDonald's, but if you can't flop a Whopper, you really have fairly low skills. Get you some skills, baby. And don't be mad at Jeff Bezos. He spent $122 compared to you. So don't be envious of him and tearing him down. The people ripping on Bezos over this. And again, I'm not defending Jeff Bezos. I don't know him. I have no idea about his personal life or his character. I don't know what his business practices are behind the scenes. I know he owns Amazon. I know he owns half the world right now. I'm not mad about that either. I didn't invent Amazon. It's not my money. If I had come up with it, I'd cash the check. Because it's obviously serving a lot of people. Even if you don't agree with it, you're buying from them all the time, obviously. So you paid for that house because he provided you a service. So stop your tall poppy syndrome. Stop the envy. It's evil. It's evil. Go be productive.